Doves Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple of minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Dove Radio? Call the police. Call my agent. Hi, I'm Danny.
Tony, welcome to Go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
Alright, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of The Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead Radio Show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show. Good to see you. Happy Friday. The Knockem Dead Comedy Show, we're coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club, where you can see the one and only Tom Cotter this weekend. Woo, Tom Cotter. And Tom will be joining us, and actually he's already there. So Tom will be with us in just a minute. Thanks for joining us this morning. If you're watching on Facebook, the Govs Comedy Club Podcast Facebook page, we appreciate it. Please follow the page. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up and do all that social media stuff that we have no idea what we're doing. Whichever page you're watching on, please share the link on all your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here, Govs Comedy Club Podcast, and of course, govs.com, which is the website to the club to see what they got going on. We're very excited. We got a lot going on here this morning, starting with the one and only Tom Cotter, who you can see at Governor's this weekend. Let me see. Tom, give me a second. Let me set up here. All right. We're just about ready for you. I'm just bear with me. I'm figuring out all my settings here. Let me do this, and let me do that, and we're just about set. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Tom Cotter is here, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thanks. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear. We just got new computers and programs in here, so I'm just trying to make sure that everything is working right. Just
bragging.
It's
a lot of
been.
people have old computers.
All right, hang on. Let me. We're primitive.
Good morning, sir. How are you? I'm well. How are
Okay, good. We're a professional studio here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Tom Cotter, my first question for you. I noticed right behind you is, what is that, a cardboard cutout of yourself?
That is the Secret Service looking for Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens is right here, and that's his Secret Service detail. Happens to look just like me, but yes. Very similar. There he is. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow. Do you have a lot of pictures of yourself around?
How sad is that?
Wow, right on cue. Thanks for that. That's a true professional right there. So, I'm surprised you haven't left already to make it to Governor's on time tonight.
I know the traffic will suck, but I will have a good podcast in my car like this one, and I will enjoy the ride.
Will it be the couple of last podcast?
Oh yeah, we started that. The wife and I just recently started. I just finished our 4th episode.
Nice.
And that's on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. live, and then you can see it after that if you would like. And it's basically marital domestic violence in a verbal form and an audio form, and people can tune in if they'd like. My wife is Carrie Louise, the comic who is much funnier than I and much prettier than I.
Well, I think you're both pretty damn funny. Yeah, the prettier one, yeah, you definitely got me. Although I will say, and I hope you can. I hope you can see this. I mean, she is very pretty, but you have a nice ass. Can you see what I'm showing?
No.
Oh, all right. I'm showing a picture. I don't know if you recall this or not, but
I mooned your studio. I remember mooning your studio.
That's the picture I'm showing.
Well, it should be shown.
Well, there you go. You see, yeah,
a little piece of my pasty white little Irish ass in your window.
Well,
the comedy juice is flowing.
Nice and smooth, by the way, too. Mine, you can kind of part the hair. So I was impressed.
I comb them. Yeah, use some hair removal on my butt.
I think Tom Kelly was very impressed. He's a little scary, that guy.
Yeah, well, he should be intimidated by my buttocks. Most people should.
Didn't know that's where we were going this morning, huh?
So sorry. Well, I know some people are probably having their breakfast, eating their Cheerios, and having to listen about my pasty white old Irish ass.
And some people might have stopped eating. Some people might have gotten even a little more hungrier. I don't know.
I doubt it. I think it's the former, not the latter.
So I don't know if we can, say like the town or whatnot. But you're in the New York area, but you're where are you originally from?
My mother's uterus. It's warm and moist. Many people have been there. I don't know if you have. I'm from Rhode Island originally. A different island. Yeah. I like to work the islands. Staten Island, Rikers, and Long Island. So I'm on an island tour. yeah, I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. There wasn't a big comedy scene there, so I moved to Boston for 6 years to kind of get started. And I'm glad I did that. And then I moved to New York.
Well,
Because
right.
in Rhode Island, you can move 3 hours south to New York or 1 hour north to Boston. And I chose the latter of those two options, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, yeah, it's definitely the smart move to come here. You know,
Yeah, eventually. And I Richie Minervini humbled me once by listing. I used to think that all the Boston, I thought came out of Boston, so I figured all the Boston guys are the best comics. And we had Jay Leno, Stephen Wright, Dennis Leary, and then around my time we had Louis C.K. and Dane Cook and Rogan, Joe Rogan, we had Billy Burr. So we've had quite a, and there are a lot of comics that went to college in Boston that aren't really from Boston but started their careers there. So I used to think we were the cat's meow as far as the comedy world was. And then Richie Rini just rattled off all the Long Island guys, and it was humiliating. Just the two syndication deals of Seinfeld and Ray Romano, 500 million and 600 million. Then you got Rosie O'Donnell, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock. I mean, the list is unbelievable. Kevin James. Financially, they kicked the crap out of the Boston guys. I mean, they've just and then you could make an argument that I don't know what's in your water out there on Long Island, but damn, you breed some funny people.
Well, I mean, your list isn't that bad itself, but since you're not originally from Boston, I want to make you a New Yorker. You're being knighted.
I live here now.
That's right. And you left out Jackie the Joke Man. And
I left out a million people.
Well, true. Yeah, Eddie Murphy and Seinfeld alone.
You could go on all day with these legends of comedy that came out of Long Island. I don't know. Wendy Liebman is from Roslyn. It goes on and on. I'm missing more than half the list, but it's an impressive list. And again, it's not Manhattan; it's Long Island.
Right. And one of my personal favorites, Joey Cola.
Joey Cola, unbelievable. There's a video of him last night with someone. You saw it, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable. It was pretty impressive video.
That was a nice moment, and I'm sure he loved every second of it.
Every minute of it.
Yeah.
He's a legend. He's a god. He was the audience warm-up guy when I did America's Got Talent, and he kept saying, I'd come over to say hi, and he goes, I can't talk to you because I'm on the job and I don't want to look like impropriety here, but I'm going to get them all jazzed up for you. And sure enough, he did. He put Duracells up the audience's ass.
Oh, it's incredible what I've
read the phone book and done well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just the best.
I saw him with. I've seen him do warm up for a few different shows. I've been very fortunate. But Kevin James, Kevin Can Wait. He was doing that. He was actually handing out candy. If people had diabetes, he was actually killing them.
He does that outside of playgrounds, and it's inappropriate. but when you're doing warm up, it's perfect.
We don't talk about that though. It's Joey Cole.
I will say that when you paint your van to look like an ice cream truck, the kids come right to it. It's easy. One-stop shopping.
And it used to, when it said, freak out, or what was it, freak off, that used to work, but now he's got to remove that part of the sign.
I was never invited to one of those parties. I'm a little hurt by that.
You weren't? I figured, you're hanging out with, people like Howard Stern. I thought for sure you would been invited.
And you saw my pasty white ass. I belong at those parties.
We did. We had a little freak off in here after we saw it. So, all right. So do you? So there's not much of a comedy scene in Providence. So do you have a place that you consider to be like your home club? Is it somewhere in Boston? Or?
Unfortunately, the club I started at went the way of the dinosaurs. It was called Periwinkle's Comedy Club in Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow.
Great club. Started with a lot of great comics there. But it kind of died, and then everyone fled like rats off a burning ship. Some people went to New York. Some people went to Boston.
Yeah.
And then the Boston scene kind of crapped out. And so we all fled there, and a lot of us went to L.A. and New York. I went to New York. My wife is from right outside of Brockton, Easton, Massachusetts. And so we, 3 hours is better than 6 hour flight. Plus in LA at the time, it was you were pawns in a chess game between Mitzi at the Comedy Store. And if you worked for Mitzi, you weren't allowed to work for Bud Friedman at the Improv. And if you worked for Bud Friedman at the Improv, you weren't allowed to work for Jamie at the Laugh Factory. And, it was horrible. You'd have to wait 2 weeks for a spot. And then right before your spot, Damon Wayans would come in and cut an album and blow out your spot. So you didn't even get it. Whereas in New York, if you weren't up every night, it was because you were lazy. So that's why we moved to New York. It was much
Right.
better for comedy.
And lucky for us. So, but you've been here many times. So, what do you? What's one of the best things about coming here to Governors?
Well, again, the legacy. I mean,
Yeah.
you people in Long Island don't realize what a comedy gem they live in. It's unbelievable. Again, if I rattled off all the names, you would not believe in that pretty relatively small kind of area, Nassau, that whole area has bred some of the funniest human beings on the planet. So I love that history. Governors has been around forever.
Yeah.
And so I love coming out there, but I also like going to McGuire's, and I just love coming out to the island. I work at a lot of country clubs on Long Island because I love their iced tea and
their money.
Yeah, again, I'm an island guy, so I come from Rhode Island. I love going to Long Island. So yeah, it's just good salt of the earth people. They're my people, I think.
Yeah, you're right about that. Salt of the earth. You don't have to. I find the city can be a little funny because the audiences is a lot of tourists. So you don't, sometimes in this current climate, you find yourself, even if you're not trying to, you can alienate people easily. Where here on Long Island, they're pretty much up for anything. They don't care.
Yeah, they are, kind of a snapshot of America. They're kind of, they're blue collar generally, although there's some of the wealthiest people in the world are out that way. So you've got that whole mix, but they're just not as pretentious as the Manhattanites. And I was a Manhattanite, so I can throw stones at myself saying that. I lived there for 17 years. I live in the burbs now, but yeah, so I just love coming out there. I hate the traffic. The LIE is a lie because it says Long Island Expressway, and It's not. There's nothing express. I've been in the worst traffic in the world on the LIE, so I used to tell my sons it is a lie. And we used to have a code in our family. If one of my kids was lying, my wife and I would say, "Oh, Long Island Expressway," and that was our little thing. So yeah, but anyway, I love the island, love coming out there, and I'm psyched. I got one show tonight, one show Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it.
And that's nice because it's only one show, so you're like, are you going home? Like, you going back home tonight and then coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, but I'm actually going to go into the city, see some people tonight, Friday night, and then Saturday night I may have plans to do the exact same thing. Just because it's on the way, and I get to stop in and see some of my old buddies.
And that's exactly where I'm going. The beauty of just doing one show, you're out of here, probably like 10 the latest, and at that time, and I could be in the city, within 45 minutes.
I used to host at the Cellar at 2 and 3 in the morning.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was, yeah.
Look at you, you dirty stay out. Wow.
Yeah. I was, God, I did that all the time. I hosted there constantly, and those shows would go until 3 in the morning, and you'd be talking to 3 drunks at the end of the night. But, it was stage time, so you did what you had to do.
Yeah, absolutely right. Wow. And then, so going back to, we talked about the couple of laughs. What it's got to be tough, where both people in the marriage are comedians / actors. Like, do you guys, like, when you're having conversations, are you like battling for the punchline, or if somebody's got a joke, you're trying on the other? Like, how do you tell them it's bad?
We do that. We comedy is a dream job if you dream of poverty and rejection. So it was tough for us during the pandemic because we couldn't work.
Yeah, sure.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, but when you're stuck in a house with someone for forever, that's tough. So the pandemic tested our marriage. I didn't wear a mask around my wife, but I wore earplugs and I got through it. But yeah, so she went further than I did on Last Comic Standing, and don't think for a second that I don't hear about that 2 or 3 times a week. That comes up a lot, So there's that, and the other thing is we will. I hate to use the word hosey. I sound like a 5-year-old, but we will claim or trademark. If we're in a group of people and someone says something funny, Carrie will go, "That's mine," or I'll say, "No, it's mine." We have to hosey it. And the other thing is sometimes it's her family that says it, and then I hosey it, and then that's big trouble because she's like, "That's genetically that belongs to me because my brother said it." So what? But yeah, that's what we do. And I don't know. People think because we're married that we never argue, that we laugh at everything. And there is some laughter in our house. It's usually my wife. It's in the bedroom and she's pointing, and I don't care for it. But we argue too. We're a normal couple. We never go to bed angry. We'd much rather stay awake and plot our revenge. But other than that, we're great.
I never cared so much about the pointing and laughing because as long as my wife is using it, I don't care how she really feels about it. It's
yeah, that's a problem. I'm 23 years married. She's not using it anymore. My wife. Yeah.
All right. Well, if I get her on here, I'll have a little chat with her. I'll stick up for you.
Set her right.
Now, and I do have a beef. I do have a little bit of a beef with her. So I watched a couple of laughs. I watched the first episode, which I loved, by the way.
You have impeccable taste.
Of course. However, there's a part in the show. It's like forgive me, I forget what it's called. It's like video of the week or like.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick a video to show her, get her reaction. She picks a video to show you. Now, the video that she picked in this particular episode was a dog that was sleeping and was getting mad that the owner was trying to wake it up.
Yeah.
I just, after, America's Got Talent, I just thought, like it was like, isn't she risking you having like a convulsion or something showing you dog videos?
She does it intentionally.
I bet.
Very passive aggressive. I was on the road. I was in Detroit last weekend, and I called home and said, "What's the weather like?" And she said, "It's raining cats and talent show champions." So she likes to stick it to me. Whenever your listeners may or may not know, but I came in second to a dog act on national television on a show called America's Got Talent.
Right.
And by the way, that was season 12, and by now most of those dogs are dead. So who really won? Let's be honest. Who is the real winner? Who's talking now? That's me. No, they beat me fair and square, and my wife will not let me forget about that. My kids waited 2 years after the season finale, my season of AGT, to ask me for a dog. But we have a dog now, and we love our dog, and I'm over it. I'm kind of over it. I'll never really get over it, but I'm kind of over it.
I'll have you know, I actually did see that act live. And I just stood there saying, no, Tom was better than this. I just want you to know that. Yeah.
They're adorable. W.C. Fields famously said back in vaudeville that you never follow a kid act or an animal act because you're never going to win. And he was absolutely right. And they were adorable. And I make a big deal out of it in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way, but they really are great. It's called the Olate Dogs that beat me, and it's such a great story. The Cliff Note version is little kid in Peru finds a stray dog on the street, teaches it a couple of tricks, and becomes a street performer. Then one dog begets 2 dogs, then 3 dogs. Now he's got a whole pack of dogs that can do tricks. Kid's 10 years old. He retires his father because he's now making more money as a street performer than his father is in the fields. And then he gets with the circus, comes to the United States, jumps off the train, and American Dream, wins America's Got Talent. So it's really a great story, and they really are great. And I besmirch them, but I like dogs, so I'll get over it. I'd rather lose to a dog than a human.
Well, yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know that backstory. So so now you've kind of swayed me away from you onto them now.
Yeah, and we have a lab. It's a meth lab, but we guard it with pit bulls, and they're adorable. We also have a Dalmatian. We named him G-Spot because we can never find him. Let's move on now. Sorry, everybody. It's too early for these G-Spot jokes.
There's one of yours that it made me laugh so hard. You're a fantastic comedian, which is why you are who you are. But there's that one where you talk about a girl and you're like, yeah, she has arthritis. It cracks me up every time. You have
a lot of throwaways in my act.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, as much as I love it, there is a lot of other stuff that's so much more clever and funny. But I don't know what it is. That just makes me laugh every time.
You're a dude.
Well, yeah.
Joking with hands is going to be funny.
So it's funny you mentioned W.C. Fields and I love all those guys. W.C. Fields, Abbott and Costello, the Marx Brothers, and I also love Abbott and Costello, Burns and Allen. Like, I'm a big fan of the duos and talking about those guys, talking about the history of comedy and here at Governors and whatnot. Also, another guy that came up here on Long Island, especially through Governors, was Rob Bartlett. And him and Bob Nelson and Jackie and even Eddie Murphy, they used to jump on stage together and just make up bits on the spot. But duos, again, Burns and Allen, and of course, Kerry Louise and Tom Cotter. I know you guys have shared the stage from time to time. Have you guys ever really like tried to do that? Like as a regular thing, or do you think duos are kind of a dying form? Like I mentioned Bartlett, you don't see a lot of guys going up there and doing characters anymore. That seems to be, you just don't see that as much.
Yeah, people. I don't know why, because I have a dear friend Al Ducharme in the business, guy out of Rhode Island, also who does characters, and he's hysterical, and people love him. So I don't know why comics are steering away from that now, but it is great. And you're right, people get nostalgic for the Burns and Allen, Nichols and May, Lucy and Desi, the married comedy couple, and then even the not married, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, and that, and all the way back to Abbott and Costello. And by the way, Abbott and Costello, I was talking about this the other day. I hate people who ruin things for everybody, and Hitler ruined that mustache. This mustache used to be the comedy mustache. It was Charlie Chaplin's. It was Buster, Keaton's. Keaton. It was Abbott and Costello. That was the comedy mustache.
Laurel and Hardy.
Douchebag Fuhrer comes along and murders everybody, such an ass, and now we can't have that mustache. I want that mustache. If I get that mustache, no cab will pick me up. They won't allow me in businesses. So he ruined it for everybody. Anyway, yeah, we do the comedy team thing, and it's difficult because Carrie's style is storytelling. She's kind of a storyteller, and so she tells this long, funny story with a big punchline at the end, and I'm a one-liner kind of rapid-fire guy.
Yeah.
So merging those two styles is it's a Rubik's cube. It's challenging, but we do it because we've done it on TV, and AGT. She auditioned for AGT like 2 years after I did and got on. They said, "You're going to Vegas," and then they called her 2 weeks later. This happened to a bunch of friends of mine and said, "By the way, you're not going to Vegas."
Oh wow!
Even though the judges loved her and they moved around, you're casting a show. So they contacted us the next year and said, "Hey, do you guys want to do the comedy team thing?" And we said no at the time, but we would. Now we were talking about it the other night. We would consider that again because no one else is doing it right now. It's
Yeah.
a long start.
Excuse me. There are these brothers out of Staten Island, Greg and Rob. I saw these guys a month or two ago. I thought they were fantastic, and that's really kind of when it hit me. It's like you don't really see, too many duos anymore, and you don't see a lot of people doing characters anymore. I think if there's a downside to Seinfeld, I think that might be it. He just, the observational comedy, he was such a smash in the 90s. It just seemed like not everybody, but a lot of people are just doing that style ever since.
Yeah, and when I started in the early 90s in Boston, everybody was a comedy purist. In their mind, it should be you and the microphone, and that's it. And you're a monologist, and that's it. And most of the times, not even taking the mic out of the stand. They hated guitar acts. They hated comedy teams. They hated, comedy magicians. They hated comedy jugglers. They hated anybody with an instrument, anybody with a ventriloquist puppet. And I always thought, hey, funny's funny. It's not. Who are you to decide what should be done on the stage? It should be what the audience wants. It should be supply and demand. And when a good ventriloquist gets up on stage, they kill it. And when a great comedy magician gets up on stage, they kill it. So I always had no problem with it. And I still to this day don't have a problem with it. But comedy purists are all snobby and like, oh, no, it should just be you, your wit, and the audience, and that's it. And, get over yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, still to this day, I've heard comedians here, get not mad, but they don't like the prop comics. I still hear it. And I've never understood it.
Carrot Top has been a huge success in Vegas. Is there anybody that's gone longer than him? Terry Fader, ventriloquist, has been doing it for like 12 years now, I think. But Carrot Top's been there longer, I think. I don't know of a comic that has lasted longer in such a successful way than Carrot Top. So you can mock him all you want for other things, but the guy, there's no better prop comic in the world. He's the kid, and I don't know the guy. I have no axe to grind here. I'm just telling you what I see. And so, yeah, I mean, someone should say, hey, if it's successful for him there, why don't I try it? And nobody is. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, all right. So what prompted you and Carrie to do a podcast? I mean, is it the fact that everybody's doing it now, or you hoping to get sponsors?
From the beginning to do this. Everybody's, like Rich Voss and Bonnie have one. They're great. My friend Al Ducharme again and Bernadette Pauley, they're a married comedy couple, and they've done some. So I just, we work an hour a night and we have 23 other hours in the day. What are you going to do? And so Carrie's like, let's do this. And I said, what the hell? Let's do this. And plus, our son is our producer. So we get to, which is funny because we actually produced him. But he is now involved. It's kind of a family affair.
That's nice.
And it's only 20 minutes, and people should tune in. If you're ADD, we're out of here. It's bing, bing, bang, boom, and you're done. And we have a lot of fun doing it. And I like working with my wife. So.
I thought it was great. How your son must love the fact, because he was chiming in every once in a while and say, hey, we got to stick to the time. So it's time for this segment, time for this. You guys got to stop. So he must love that, telling you guys to basically shut up. Yeah.
You know, he used to say, get your ass out of bed. You got to go to school. And now he's like, you got to move on, guys. You're milking this bit too long.
Yeah.
So it's poetic justice.
And now it's get out of bed and go to your computer chair, because you have podcasts to produce. And then where was Carrie? Like, do you guys make it look like that you're not together, or is she just like in the next room?
She's made a little de facto studio in our basement.
Oh really? I was just joking.
No, she really does. She goes down to the basement, and I get stuck in the dining room, which is fine because she auditions for a lot of stuff and has all the lighting and everything downstairs, and she's a chick, so it's got to be perfect for her. And clearly, I don't give a crap. Look behind me. So, so it's a lot easier. It's weird, but with my snoring, we separate too. Now I have to sleep in the guest room, and she has to sleep at her yoga instructor's house. It's weird, but we're getting through it.
Well, you could drop off the Secret Service Tom there. Drop it off at the house there.
Okay. Yeah.
She should audition. I've seen some of her movies, and she's very good.
Yeah, she's done a couple out there on Long Island. She filmed 2 movies out there on Long Island, and she loves the island as well. So I don't know why we didn't move there. When we lived in Harlem for 5 years, and we loved it. It was we were there for 5 years. We didn't see one globetrotter, but we loved Harlem. Some people in Harlem live in high rises, some live in housing projects. We lived in fear, but other than that, we loved it. But when we moved, when we got pregnant with our 3rd kid, we had the twins, and then we had our 3rd son. We were like, it's time to move to the burbs. And I think we looked at Long Island a little bit, but then we decided the traffic and the taxes were no good, so we went to Rockland County. But please, Long Island, don't be offended. We did consider you.
Well, Long Island's not offended. Half the people move out of here, and it's like a prerequisite. You have to move to Florida at some point. So,
law.
Right. Yeah, it is some kind of law here. Yeah. That was my son was I think was the assistant director on a few of the movies that she made.
Oh, great! Look at that. It's a Long Island family affair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I've seen some of her movies. In fact, I got to see one of the movies, and you guys were there at the premiere.
At the premiere, yeah, we did that, and then she just did a real. I'm not besmirching the other film, but I mean a big budget movie, and that's coming out soon too. She plays a postal worker. Oh, it's not going crazy.
That's a shame. That's cool though. Congratulations. Looking forward to that. Now,
she put her career on the back burner a little while to raise our kids, and in all fairness to her. A lot of women make that sacrifice, and
yes,
she made that sacrifice. And now my youngest is 17. He's kind of self-sufficient, so she's able to get out there more than she has been able to the last 2 decades. And so God bless her. I'm like, whenever you want, go on the road, do what you want to do. You deserve it.
And she is, in all seriousness, she's fantastic. She's really great. So I highly.
She's a really good kisser, I have to say.
Good to know. I was trying to think of a tie-in to the smooth ass again, but you are who you are for a reason.
My ass, I kiss hers.
There you go.
That works.
Now, what about you though? You don't. I know you did some stuff. What was it? The Good Wife, was it?
Oh yeah, I did a little thing on The Good Wife, and then I've done a couple of films. I was in Next Stop Wonderland. That was a long time ago, and I don't generally. I'm on the road now. I used to make not a lot of money, but I used to make most of my money. And I was a union guy with SAG and AFTRA because I did a lot of voiceover stuff.
Nice.
Not on camera because apparently I have a great face for radio, but I did a lot of voiceover stuff. I was the voice of Sam Adams for a while until Kiefer Sutherland took that from me.
Son of a bitch.
Dick. And I had a Gorelick Farms, which is dairy up in New England, that I was the voice of them for a while, and Casino Queen down south. I did a lot of those, and those are great because you you bang them out in an hour, and then they keep running them, and it's residuals, so you
Right.
paper. So that is my retirement. Thank God. I'm glad I had those years, but now I'm on the road. I love doing what I do. I love telling jokes. Couldn't do it for 2 years during the pandemic, or at least not well. So that's what I want to do in the future. I don't think I'll ever retire. I hope I die on stage. And so if something falls in my lap, I audition for it, but I'm not out there looking for it.
Oh wow, that's interesting because a lot of these guys, that's usually the goal is to get a sitcom or something.
This has always been my goal, to tell jokes. I know
Really?
a lot of guys write 7 minutes of material, or buy 7 minutes of material, or steal 7 minutes of material,
Right.
and their whole goal is just to be seen by the industry and then get into television and film. I've done a fair amount of that. I've been at this for 40 years. I'm happy with the TV and the film that I've done, but I love working, and I just want to keep working. And that was taken away from me because some jackass ate a bat, and then I had to get nostril raped when I got on a plane. And I will never get over that, but now that I'm back at it, I'll never bitch about a flight delay. I'm flying to Israel next week. I'm going into a war zone to tell jokes. Why? Because I love doing what I do, and I support Israel. So there you have it.
Oh, that's cool. Very nice. And I know you just did something with a military tour, if I'm not mistaken, too, right?
Doing a lot of those.
That's
very
great.
near and dear to my family. My brother's a retired colonel. My dad was in World War II. Nieces and nephews, and I served 2 years for bank fraud. And then I was with the Army for a while, but it was the Salvation Army. And then I was with the Navy for a little while, but it was the old Navy. I folded sweaters at the mall. So I really never served in the military, but I did kill 2 terrorists on my Xbox last week. So I feel like I'm doing my job.
Thank you for your service. Yeah. All right. I won't keep you just a couple of minutes longer, if that's all right.
I got nowhere to be, buddy. You're confusing me with somewhere else to be. I have nowhere else to be. Hold on, I want to do this for you because I love my country. Here we go.
Look at that.
There we go.
So you complained about nose raping, but now you're doing the ear raping with flags. All right, cool. I liked it. I don't know why you took them off, but
Take them off.
all right. I'm going to throw something I like to do with a lot of guests. I look at the good old Facebook, and I look at mutual friends.
Okay.
I'm going to throw some names at you. Say whatever you want, or you don't say anything at all.
Well, I may not even know them. We may just be Facebook friends, which means they're never going to help you move. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe you tell them, hey, it's Tom Cotter. Maybe they'll jump at the chance.
No, go ahead.
Well, I think this guy would help you move. Chris Monty.
Oh, I love Chris Monty. Chris Monty is a Long Island guy who is rising quickly in the ranks. I know.
You talking about his nose?
Pardon me?
You talking about his nose when you say it's rising?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying that in the Florida market, which I've been doing for 20 years now, all those gated communities down there, I love working down there. He's now a presence down there as well. He should be. He wears a suit. He knows how to class the joint up. He reminds me a little bit of the Rat Packy kind of stuff.
Yes, agreed.
But a great guy. Another thing, some guys are great on stage, but douchebags off stage. Chris Monty's a good guy off stage and very funny on stage, and that I find that rare in this business. So.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Yeah. So.
And he's a Met fan.
He's a Met fan, and the Mets are doing well. I grew up in New England, as you know, so I'm Bruins, Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, and right now it is humiliating. We are the worst football team in the league by far, and our baseball team was just an abomination dumpster fire this year. So
yeah,
waiting for the Celtics to get their act together, and the Bruins.
I don't feel bad for you. I'm a Met fan, so I'm used to losing.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I love Mets because I can't stand the Yankees. So yeah.
Who just clinched last night? I just wanted to throw that in there.
I know. Yeah, they did. It's very painful.
And please don't mention any of that when you're here on stage. They just might, burn you or something. Yeah. Christy Miller.
Oh yeah, Christy Miller, very funny. Yeah, great.
She's outrageous. Don Sill.
Don Sill. Let me see the picture. Oh yeah, Don. Great guy. Yeah.
Great guy. Don is you did
I'm an asshole, so I can say someone's an asshole because I haven't done that yet. I need somebody.
Call Don an. Don is actually
guy with Don. What an asshole!
There you go. He's actually driving right now. He's driving through Virginia. He's going to North Carolina to visit his kids and grandkids. So he's driving. He can't respond. So say bad things about him.
And hopefully he'll help out with a little hurricane damage while he's down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They should put him to work while he's down there. Absolutely. Greg Vaccarello.
Oh, Greg's awesome. Greg is he's one of those guys who is out on ships right now kicking ass. Like Al Romas, who's originally a Long Island guy. Al Ducharme, the other guy I mentioned him 3 times now. Those guys are killing it on the ships. You know, there was a time where you didn't want to work ships. You were called a boat act, and it was a bad thing.
Right.
And then I don't know when the tides turned, pardon the pun, but in Boston, there was one guy doing it, Rich Seisler, and then everyone was like, oh, he's a boat act, he's a boat act, he's a boat act. But then when comedy went in the dumpster in Boston, everyone was like, hey, Rich, how do I get on boats? And they started kissing his ass.
Oh,
and they all tried to get on boats. And I was on boats solidly for 8 years. I love working on cruise ships when when it's just unfortunately not lucrative, and I hate being away from my kids. So I'm sure I'll get back on them. But yeah, I envy Greg when I always see his posts because he's in Cuba, or he's in Belize or some cool place like that. And you only work an hour a night, and the rest of the time you're on a ship, and someone's changing your bed and making up your room and feeding you. It's not a bad life.
I have a friend who's a musician, and he does cruise ships. Yeah, he does 2 or 3 shows a week for 45 minutes each, and then the rest of the time he's just enjoying the ship or wherever they're traveling to. It's crazy.
And Greg's a great dude, by the way.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've always liked his act. I love he throws the, hey, what do you need? What do you got? Yeah, I got you right here. So I really like that about Greg.
You definitely showed that you're not from New York just now. Yeah.
My pasty white Irish ass came out again. There it is.
Mark Riccadonna.
Oh, love Mark Riccadonna. He and I got the pleasure. We've worked together a million times, but we got to do a little tour together for a while. Just a quality human being on stage and off stage. Great guy. Would love to hang out with him more, but now he's, a family man as well, and there's the restraining order issue. But I love him.
All right, 2 more names. Peter Bales.
What an asshole! I'm kidding. I love Bales. Bales, party of 2. Peter Bales is the king. Here's what I love about Peter Bales. So smart. I mean, we're all this is years ago. We're all hawking T-shirts and CDs and DVDs after our show. He's selling history books because he's written history books.
It's true.
I mean, and people bought him. I would work with him at Dangerfield. He'd be out there, be a line 5 people long to get up one of his history books because he tells history in a very funny way, as you know, because he's very funny on stage. And I know he's a big fan of I Dream of Jeannie, and I always love Peter Bales, and I just always think of Bales Party of 2.
Thanks for the. Is that true? I Dream of Jeannie?
Oh yeah, he loves I Dream of Jeannie. So do I. We bonded over we love that show. Remember, she did do that, and she's really great.
Well, isn't that? Oh, you know what? Now it's coming back to me, right? Peter didn't he bang Bob Reedon or something?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that on your podcast. I was trying to dance around it. I'm not going to say whether he did or he didn't, but
did I just say something I wasn't supposed?
He's a legend. He's a legend. He's a legend in the comedy world for many reasons. That primary among them.
I was just joking. I mean, I banged Yoko Ono. I mean, it's we all get around.
Wow, that orgasm! I would love to hear that. Jesus.
I think we've all heard it actually. Yeah. Last name I have for you is Jim Florentine.
Oh, I love Jim. I'm working with him right now. We're on the No Apologies comedy tour. I've always been a fan of his before I even met him. And he and Tammy Pescatelli and I get to do this No Apologies comedy tour thing that we love working with each other. They're just quality human beings and hysterical. And our styles are so different that it's fun. And we do a Q&A at the end.
Oh, really?
90% of the questions are for Jim. A lot of them for me are like, how much do you hate dogs? All right, I'm over it. But Jim Florentine, because he has all those great Crank Yankers clips and everything, people adore him. And God, his voice, I'm pretty comfortable in my heterosexual skin, but he's got that deep 6-pack a day, voice that it's pretty impressive, and just a great dude, funny dude, and never want to have to try to follow him.
I always pick his brain about the metal show whenever he's in here. I just love that show.
That's the other thing people ask when they do the Q&A. It's always the metal thing or it's Crank Yankers, and they ask him to do impressions and stuff. And he's so gracious, and afterwards he's so nice meeting he's nice to his audience, so they always come up and buy his stuff. And
Well, and just like yourself, same thing. He'll come in here and he'll sit with us just like you're doing now. You give us time, and it's very much appreciated, and it's all a great thing. So that's why I saved him for last, because I knew you're doing the tour now. But also recently, I saw a poster. It was for you appearing somewhere where it was comedy and karaoke.
I don't know. I was the comedy part. I certainly wasn't the karaoke part, because I sang in church once and people converted to Islam the next day. So no one wants to hear me sing. When I sing, whales beach themselves. It's horrible. So yeah, I should be kept away from karaoke. And by the way, karaoke is part of what killed comedy in Boston, because all Boston is hospitals, colleges, and bars, and
Right.
every bar had a comedy night. This before I started. So you couldn't take a night off. There were so many comedy rooms, and guys were making tons of money. And then all of a sudden, karaoke came on the scene, and these club owners are like, "Well, the comedian shows up drunk if he shows up alone. The machine's going to be here, and the people are going to be here. Let's go with karaoke. It's cheaper. We don't have to pay a comic." And so karaoke was part of what killed comedy in Boston. And so it's always satanic to me. I hate karaoke. Plus, I've been to karaoke things where guys take it way too seriously, where
Yes.
someone will do someone else's song and they want to fight, and you're like, grow a dick. It's not even your song. It's someone else. So, what are you doing? But anyway, God bless him.
But see, that reason alone, that to me totally explains Boston. Like, who the fuck would trade comedy for karaoke?
But they did.
Well, I'm glad you got out of there. I'm glad you survived and got out of there and smartened up.
I got parole. Yeah, I got out of there. And I love going back. I love Boston. It's still my hometown. But the comedy scene hit the skids in the mid-'90s. And so that's when we came to New York, and we couldn't be happier looking back. Great decision.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm saying New York's own Tom Cotter from now on. That's just the way it is.
Damn right. It's on my license.
There it is. That's it. And that's where you can see him tonight and tomorrow. Tom Cotter right here at Governor's in Levittown on the main stage. You will not be disappointed. I've had the pleasure of seeing him here at Governor's a few times, and he's always nice to us here in the studio. Go to govs.com, make your reservations if you still can. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sold out, but you have two chances, tonight and tomorrow. Tom Cotter, I can't thank you enough. It's always a good time to see you, and like I said, you've always been very good to us, and it's very much appreciated, pal.
Right back at you. Love being on with you. Thanks
Cool.
so much for having me.
Thank you, Tom. Well, and have a great time this weekend. And good luck heading out to Israel.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Have a great time.
All right.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. All right, there you go. That was fun. Tom Cotter is he's great. He is just great. All right, let me. Okay, there we go. Hi. So there you go, Tom Cotter. That was a lot of fun, and he hung out a lot longer than planned. It was originally set up. I asked him if he can do noon, and then it actually turns out I got to head out of here at noon today. I'll get to that in a second. But so then I reached out to him again. I said, "Can we make it 11:30?" And he said, "Yeah." And I figured, we said, "All right, we'll do like 20 minutes." But then I started the show, and I see that he was already on. So did the show, started the show with him, and he did, 45 minutes. That was great. Tom Cotter, again, you will not be disappointed. Tom Cotter, a very, very funny guy. Go to Tom Cotter. You can find him on the internet. He's got I think it's just TomCotter.com. I should have asked him I should have asked him to promote his stuff. TomCotter.com, and then at Tom Cotter Comic on Instagram, and then he's got a Facebook page, all that good stuff. So again, very funny man, and as you saw just now, very funny. So come on down to Governor's tonight or tomorrow. See Tom both nights. Okay. So all right, let me see. Let me catch up here with you guys. See what sort of we got going on. John Rusiello says happy Friday. And Rothney's checking in. Mickey Delaney, hi guys. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see. Thank you, Tom. Loved listening, fun guy. Best wishes. That was a great interview, Tony. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate it. Ann's always got very positive things to say. She's lovely. Thank you, Ann. And I appreciate you and your positive energy. So thank you for that. So that was that. I do have to sign off a little after around 12:05. I have a doctor's appointment. So I've talked about it several times here on the show, where I suffer from phantom pain on my amputated stump, my amputated leg, and I've had it's weird. So when the pain comes, it's phantom pain. There are a million different types of phantom pain. Some people just think they feel their leg and they start to walk and without a prosthetic and they fall. Some people actually feel pain and some people, I know one guy who gets phantom pain where it's horrible pain that goes on for a little while and it's constant. My particular pain is I feel like I'm being stabbed in my stump, and it feels like it's stabbing, and then it stops, and then maybe 5 seconds later it happens again. And in between, I'm totally fine. It's just a quick stab, and it's like, ah! And then by the time I'm done screaming, the pain is gone. So for 5 seconds, I rest, and then boom, it happens again. I'm like, ah! And then I rest. And like that. So, but the problem is, it goes on for hours. So, and it gets worse. The pain actually gets worse and worse as it goes on. I think the shortest amount of time it's happened is 6 hours. The longest, I think, was 30. It was around 30. It's like 29 or 31, something like that. I forget exactly. But, and this has been going on off and on since my amputation, which was 2005. So there have been times I've had it happen, 6 times in a year. I think the longest I've gone without it was 13 or 14 months. On the average, it's maybe 3 or 4 times a year. There was 2018 maybe where, no, sorry, it might have been 2020. 20 or 21, where it happened almost 10 times that year. And that was awful. This year, the year started off good. I had an episode earlier this year, and then it was quiet. But then the past maybe 2 months, it's happened 2 or 3 times. So August of 2023, I saw a doctor who said, well, believe it or not, it's phantom pain, and pain comes from the spine. That's, the spine is sending the messages out. So he said, he offered an epidural, and he's like, you're not going to feel anything after that. He goes, let's do the epidural, and I think you'll be fine. I'm like, oh, all right, great. So I got the epidural. Fairly simple procedure, a little painful at the time, but I think I was there the whole time was like maybe a half hour, and I was able to walk out of there pretty much pain-free by the time I left. But it didn't work. 2 weeks later, I had one of the worst phantom pain bouts I've ever had. So I went back to the doctor, and I said, okay. I said, well, that didn't work, you son of a bitch. And I smacked him. So he said, well, there's another thing we can do where we wrap a wire around your spine. and then the wire comes out. And, well, it doesn't come out. It just comes this way. It's inside of you. And there's like a sensor on the end where you control the sensor with an app on your phone where you can control it. So if you're feeling pain, you can kind of turn this thing on, and it's supposed to stop the signal from the pain signal from being spread. So I was like, nah, I don't want anything going on. I don't want you going near my spine. Even though I had the epidural, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But this year, just again, having more episodes, I'm like, I just figured there's got to be something, because I can't imagine going, hopefully I still have another 30 or 40 years here. I just can't imagine having to go through this for that amount of time. So So I figured, let me look into this. So I did look into it, and I talked to a friend, and I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. Either the friend had it done or the friend knew somebody had it done and said, oh, they swear by it. And then my brother sent me. My brother's a big Jerry Lewis fan, and he sent me a video of Jerry Lewis apparently had this procedure done back in the 90s. Back then, we didn't have phones. We didn't have apps. So it was like, at that time, it was just like a remote control, like a TV remote control that Jerry Lewis carried around with him. And he was able to control, like this wire would like start off small, and then like you can give it more power if you're still feeling a lot of pain, and it's supposed to cut off the pain. And Jerry Lewis was swearing by it. I got my life back. I was in so much pain I was considering suicide, but I got my life back. I'm not in pain, so I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try this after all. I'm going to at least talk to the doctor, see what he says. So I've been trying to get an appointment. This doctor, he's booked up. And I originally had an appointment for late November, which kind of sucks. I figure that's another month and a half. But then they contacted me Wednesday and said we had a cancellation for Friday at 12:45. Can you be here? And I said, yeah, you know what? I think I'll do that. So I had Tom Cotter already scheduled, but that's why I asked him to move to 11:30. And it's probably about a half hour. It's in a town called Huntington, which is northeast of here. So, so I figured let me end the show around 12:05, and then I'm going to head up to the doctor. So that's my story. Fremder, Tom Cotter is hilarious. One of my favorites and a good dude as well. Yeah, absolutely. A great dude. His wife is great. Had the pleasure of, hanging with them both a few times. No time for bad vibes. That's right, Ann. Do not let a doctor put something in you unless you're having a colonoscopy. Speaking of colonoscopies, I haven't been getting much sleep lately, so I think I might schedule one. I figured that was every Friday night for you. So that's the story there. Tom Cotter, we mentioned that he's, from Boston. I'm not feeling bad for him right now, man. I'm soaking this up. The Mets and the Yankees advancing to the next round of the MLB playoffs. I am biased because I'm a Met fan, but man, there is an energy around the Mets right now. Like, they are so freaking hot. And the Yankees, I think the Yankees are looking good. I thought their game last night, they totally dominated Kansas City, in my opinion. But I thought they looked really great last night, but it was a hard road for them to get there, where the Mets just seemed to be like just trampling over everybody. The Mets, like, even with the Yankees clinching last night, like, you're not feeling the buzz right now around that you are around the Mets. So, of course, I'm biased, but I am thrilled that the Yankees made it too. So, congratulations. Would be wonderful to see another Subway Series, but even if we don't, I still think this is a great time to be a New York baseball fan, and really enjoying, especially in this current climate with the elections coming and all the craziness in the world. It's nice to have this kind of positivity, this kind of fun thing going on in the New York area. So very excited about this. So congratulations to the Yankees. And then also here in New York, another fun thing. Yesterday we had the Northern Lights. I mean, most of you watching are in this area. Did you guys see this yesterday? I actually did not see it, which kind of sucks. I wish I did. I was in here. Comedian Jake Chapman started his podcast last night. I don't know what that was. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Peter Bales, who we mentioned with Tom Cotter. Peter Bales was here. Carrie Karavis ended up stopping by. And it was, I don't know what it was. Like, Jake didn't have any graphics for me. He didn't even have a name of the show. And then he knew nothing about Peter Bales. And to be in comedy and know nothing about Peter Bales, especially on Long Island, he should have been beat up. Really, he should have been beat up. So, but that was last night. Go back and watch it. It was fun. Peter Bales was kind of schooling Jake, and then, like I said, Carrie came in and she stayed a while. So it was a lot of fun. And then Carrie and Peter were picking on each other. Check that out. It was a lot of fun. Primal Scream with Nick Greystone was on last night as well. Nick's always great. Always a lot of fun. He had Julia from Mr. Beery's, and Mr. Beery himself, Steve Beery, was here last night as well. So, and don't forget, speaking of Peter Bales, Stand Up Memories, Season 5, great show. Peter Bales and Jackie the Joke Man Martling. They have their show on their YouTube page, but Season 5 just started a few weeks ago, and right here on Gov's Comedy Club podcast, we are now showing Season 5 as well. So please tune in, and I hope at some point we'll be able to get some of the back catalog, and we'll post those as well. Peter and Jackie, have been doing comedy since the 70s, and these guys are just fantastic. So many great stories. It's such an entertaining show. So check that out as well. And so, like I said, we're going to end the show a little early today. We're ending the show early, and then we're not back here. I'm not back here until Wednesday next week. So I'm working at White Post Farms this weekend, and it's a 3-day weekend. It's Columbus Day, so I will be there on Monday. So I'm there tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. I do that every year. So it's a 3-day weekend at White Post, so I won't be here on Monday. And then Tuesday, I'm just going to be tired from White Post, so I'm just taking a day off. White Post, I'm freaking shot after a day at White Post. And then, 2 days, kind of dead. And then this weekend, the 3 days in a row, I'm totally shot. So, I'm taking Tuesday. My apologies to Diane, but, you guys will be all right. You'll see her next week. So I'll be back on Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure Mike Kaplan will be here, which will be nice. And I think that's everything for now. Politics and the 2024 erections. Oh, yeah, I have, 1970 erections going through 2024 erections. Ann says, thank you, Tony. I always enjoy your company. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you, Ann. Same to you. But before we go, let me give you the rundown of stuff that's going on. Got a nice announcement to make, so stick with me for a minute. Of course, the non-Govs related stuff, go see Elio Pace. Even if you have no plans to go to England, make some plans, go to England. Elio Pace, go see him. He's not doing his Billy Joel stuff. He's doing some originals and stuff, which I've been playing for you. I will play some more for you next week. And Elio will be zooming in here with us. I think it's November 21st, I believe it is. But Elio, of course, known for doing his Billy Joel show. You need your Billy Joel fix? Well, head to Westbury Music Fair on December 27th. Bill Connors as Elton John and David Clark as Billy Joel doing a face-to-face show. That's going to be amazing. So go check that out. Also, here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, don't forget to vote for Hershey and the Keegs. The Best of Long Island. There you go. There's the website, bestoflongisland.com. Go to the Arts and Entertainment section, look for Best Podcast, and vote for Hershey and the Keegs. Let's see. Also, here with Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, don't forget Clash of the Boroughs. That's November 2nd. Mike Pachetti and Friends, Staten Island and Astoria, headlining the one and only Greg Criticos. Johnny McDonald is on the bill. Sean Kearns, Courtney Otera, and Andrew Farella. That's going to be a fun show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special announcement coming in a second, but first, let's talk to John. Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. It was a great interview with this Tom. He's a great comedian.
Yes, he is.
But I have a human interest story that you will be you would find it interesting.
Okay.
And because it's right up your alley. As you know, we had the west coast of Florida and north of me had a horrific horrific tornado and hurricane.
Yeah.
And they sent power linemen from different areas of the country because 3 million people are out of electricity, have no electricity or running water
Right.
in parts of Florida. So this morning, I go to the supermarket called Publix. Publix is all over Florida. It's almost like ShopRite.
Right.
It's compared to ShopRite in New York. Well, anyway, there was linemen, utility workers. They had their trucks parked outside, and they were getting food. They were getting lunch, and they were online. And all of a sudden, a deputy sheriff comes in, and he looks at them and he starts talking to them, and he tells the cashier. Now I'm in front of them, so I'm watching this, and he tells his cashier, "Give me their bill."
Nice.
And I turned around and I didn't know what was going on. I figured maybe the county is paying for it or something. And this deputy sheriff paid for the lineman's lunch because he was so impressed with these guys. And he looked, and I said to him, I said, "Gee, that's kind of nice. Is the county paying for it?" He goes, "No, I paid for it." He goes, "These guys worked almost 27 hours without any sleep, without any, they just took breaks, 20, 25, 30-minute breaks to bring power back to some devastating areas in Palm Beach County where I live." And I thought that was the most amazing thing in this day and age, where a civil servant is helping. Actually, these guys are heroes, and they're unsung. Nobody thinks about them. Right. Everybody says, "Oh, cops are great, firemen are great, this and that." These guys, all right, and they came from Connecticut. Right. Wow. And they came from Connecticut, because I started talking to him. I asked him, I said, "Where are you guys from?" He says, "Connecticut." And they're not getting overtime. They're getting their regular salary. All right. I said, "What do you mean you're not getting overtime?" He goes, No. He says, we just have to do this. And they're all in conjunction with one another.
Correct.
From all different areas.
Yes.
And by the way, I thought of you. And I said, "Wow, that's because linemen, people don't realize how important linemen and utility workers are." And I thought you would appreciate that, being a former utility worker yourself and a union guy. And it warmed the cockles of my heart.
What exactly is a cockle?
A cockle is your inner soul.
Oh, good answer.
Okay, that's how I define cockle. Now I wouldn't look at Fender's remarks with that, but in my definition, it's your inner soul. It's how you feel inside of your being.
Wow. All right, you're getting deep on me now.
Well, I'm usually a deep guy, but that's why I watch your show, because I release my deepness and my comedy. But I'm usually. What are you laughing at, you fuck? I'm dead serious. Oh, okay. How are you laughing?
No, that really is a great story, and to see a man who deserves to have everything of his paid for. It's nice to see him doing that for the linemen. They are. You're right. They are kind of like the underdogs. People don't realize how important they are until their phone or their electric is out, and then they're dying to get their service back. And in that case, those guys, they do that for a living. They basically they're like storm chasers, and they work out deals with the state or the towns, and they get paid X amount no matter how long it takes them to get the job done. So these guys will work like crazy to get it done fast, and then move on to the next one. That was what I did. I wasn't a storm chaser. I worked for a New York company, so all of our work was here. But my record was I once did 36 hours straight, and I'll never forget it. But did plenty of overnighters, where we do 24 hours. Did plenty of those, but And even that, people are like, they're dying for their service, but then you're working overnight making noise, so they come out cursing at you. And I've told the story once or twice on here. One of my biggest memories is the actress Susan Lucci. We were working in front of her house, and she was screaming at us for a very long time. She hated us. But, we had a job to do. The neighborhood was out, so we were working around the clock. And, that's what we do. That's the job.
It just goes to show you how many, and I use the word very serious on this, how many unsung heroes there is where they're not recognized, and that's kind of a shame.
That's interesting. Maybe I'll do that with Mike on Wednesday. Maybe we'll come up on the air. We'll discuss that. We'll come up with a list of unsung heroes, people that have important jobs that we don't think about. Right. That could be fun.
Yeah, but also I went to my local bookmaker and it's 3-1 that Mike doesn't show up on Wednesday. So
and your streak of predicting that is pretty on the money. So all right, so I'll be prepared for a no show.
He'll give you some excuse like Trisha's car had a flat tire Tuesday night, and he'll give you some excuse. Have a good weekend.
You too, pal.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's funny. John Rusciello checking in. That's great. Let's see. Getting deep with John's cockles. Yep. Ann says she always loves when John calls in. So do I. All right. So real quick, because I got to get out of here. So I mentioned David Clark, Elio Pace. Oh, I mentioned the great Mike Pachetti and friends. Of course, don't forget the Knockem Dead Comedy Murder Mystery Show at McGuire's in December. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's unofficial, but go to govs.com and keep tabs at govs.com because there might be a fun show coming your way soon in December. So keep tabs on that. Yeah. It might be something cool that's happening over there. So there you go. All right. Don't forget this weekend at Governor's. Here are some of the names you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend. As we mentioned, Tom Cotter, who you just saw, very funny guy. He's here at Levittown in the main room tonight and tomorrow. Sean Brown's Mad Funny Comedy Festival continues tonight and happens again on Sunday. Oscar Calazos is in the Giggle Room tomorrow. Chris Barnes, Samantha Ramsdell, Justin Silver. Just some of the names you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend. Go to govs.com, check out their full schedule, make reservations, do some great comedy shows, and go to Knockem Dead Comedy and find out our full schedule, what we got going on. And there's information there on how you can hire us for your event, whether it's a private function, a corporate event, or a fundraiser, whatever you got going on. KnockemDeadComedy.com. All right. Once again, we are out of here until Wednesday. I will see you guys Tuesday night. Steve Beery will be on Tuesday night, and Hershey and the Keegs return. They were off this week, but they return Tuesday night. So I'll see you guys then. But this show returns on Wednesday. Coffee with the Dog will be on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and Steve Squared, I'm sure, will be on Monday night. He's always on. So there you go. John Rusciello says thanks. Thank you, everybody. Have a great 3-day weekend. And, all right, we'll see you guys later.